President Trump and I have a mission. America leads on Earth and in space.
I'm going to step off the limb now.
We're going back to the moon.
It's one small step for man,
And this time, when we plant our flag,
one giant leap for mankind.
we stay.
All right, welcome back to ABC News Live Weekend, where we are taking one giant leap into space. Last week, I traveled to NASA's Johnson Space Center in Houston and met up with the all-new 2025 astronaut class, along with acting NASA Administrator Sean Duffy, as they prepare to eventually go to the moon and beyond. Take a look.
Mr. Secretary, Mr. Administrator, you've got a lot of titles.
I got a few now. Good to see you. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. This is an exciting day.
It really is. Look at 10 great, awesome new astronauts living the American dream. Again, going to serve the country.
What can you tell us about that?
We're the only agency that explores. Human exploration is the mission. And so we are going to go back to the moon. We're going to set up a base camp. We're going to stay long term. And there's a lot of knowledge we have to get from that can help us get to Mars.
Because you really want to set up the moon as a base. Like, that's where you need to be there in order to get everywhere else.
And so at the south pole of the moon, we have water. Water is oxygen, water is CO2. And so if we can get a power source there, like fission power, those are the keys for sustainable long-term life on the moon. And again, we come in peace, right? We're transparent. We want to have our international partners participate with us. China's doing the same thing, but they have a military component to what they do. It's not a civil organization, it's a military organization. And so
are you concerned about that?
Of course I am. Yeah. Of course I am. They used to say, he who controls the seas controls the world. I think he who controls space controls the world. And again, we're not about control, we're about peace and partnership and transparency, but that's not the Chinese, and that's why we should be concerned.
So how does America win this new space race?
Well, we set the vision, right? We got to say we're going to do it. And then we have to work with our corporate partners, and we got to innovate, we have to create. And again, it's just like the 60s and the 70s, where you set the vision and you set people like this and this organization loose, and it's amazing what they can do. We have the smartest people in the world that work at NASA. Some people have been naysayers on us. Some people have said, you guys can't do it. I have faith in this organization and our corporate partners that we are going to win the second space race. We're going to win back to the moon, and we're going to win to Mars.
I want to hear from some of them about what makes them so excited about this.
I think I'm excited about so much about the future of human space exploration. I think, seeing more and more people get to go to space into low Earth orbit and beyond, and then to see humanity go back to the moon and one day to Mars, I think that it is a really exciting time to be alive.
Do you feel a little nervous when you hear the administrator talking about these things and all of these goals that we have ahead?
I think it's a challenge that Americans can absolutely accomplish. If we're given the direction and the resources, we have the capability to innovate to make that happen despite the challenges ahead of us.
When I was watching my very first launch, not my launch, but when I was watching my first launch there and I saw humans going up, I thought, oh my gosh, this is what humans can do if we come together. What is it that you think about when you watch a launch?
When you watch a launch, and for me, the dream started with aviation. I was that little kid glued to the airplane window, watching all things aviation, space launches. I remember watching the space shuttle launches and landings. It just really emphasizes what is possible for the human spirit. I mean, this organization has literally time and again for multiple generations shown the world that what we once thought was impossible really is possible, and it takes a lot of smart people and a lot of hard work to get there.
And I know we don't have a crystal ball, but 10, 20, 30 years from now, where do we think this agency, the space industry will be?
So I think if you go back 20 years, who would have thought you would have SpaceX and Blue Origin and you have space tourists? I would have never thought that. And so I think you're going to have sustained life on the moon, 100%. We're going to have had boots on Mars. Do we have a base on Mars 20 years from now? I'm not sure. Is it possible? Of course it's possible. So again, we can try to think about it 20 years from now, but I don't think we have any idea what's going to come. Because again, the innovation and creativity that happens in this country from our great people, I think it's hard to project.
There's been this talk of nuclear energy in space. You made some headlines with that. What can you tell us about that?
We need a sustained, reliable power source. And so we're working towards it. There's a lot of things we have to get done to get that power source on the moon's surface, but you'll never get there if you don't set the mission, right? You don't set the goal. And again, some were like, you want nuclear weapons on the surface of the moon? No, it's power, right?
What are you telling your families at home, right? Because now there's this very real possibility that you could go to space and do these really big things and spend a good amount of time there.
I think we're telling them that we're inspired and motivated and can't wait to get to work and make progress towards these priorities.
We work here as a team and our team extends to them, and I think everybody has a really good understanding for our mission and our goals, and we've got a lot of wind behind our sails.
All right, and a special thanks to Secretary Sean Duffy there and the NASA class of 2025.